Okay, so right here we're in twin Y off. So again, we're at cover 4 to the field, so the safety's on the body. He's going to be on the body by 12 to the field. Okay, so again, this is your closed Y off set. So you're creating your 3x1 fit. We know that the tailback is away from your Y off, so we can get a 2x2 run, or we can get a 3x1 run fit. So now we talk about having to tie the whip in to what we're doing up front. And again, the end does a really nice job here, but we are wrong with the backers. So as he pulls across, he should be coming to the crease. He should be playing through here, and then he becomes your extra box player right here. Okay, so he's the A-gap player. He would come over and become the crease player, because we're going to tell this guy to spill that. So he's going to identify, hey, is he coming with depth? Okay, and we call that he becomes a sifter, or is he coming to kick me out? So the whip's got to replace this gap. He's going to come to the crease. I got to come to the A. And we just talked about that guy being the dual gap player. Okay, I'm playing this gap, but it's kind of that same concept. Presence in this gap, ball snapping back to the crease, or it's going to bubble to this gap.
So for that front side backer,
This guy right here?
No, to the 3-man side.
Right.
You're saying that for him, he's got to make that decision.
Yeah, he's basically ends up reading the back, yeah.
Yeah. So to you, the flow of this is cutoff zone.
No, it's not cut off, because again his foot is still open. So if that shoulder is all the way down and you can see the back's path, okay, his shoulders are kind of broken at that 45-degree angle. He can still snap it back to the crease. He can press it downhill, but the quarterback is not impeding him from getting to the front side gap.
Now, should that front side backer I just pointed out, should he be playing back behind that because of that?
This guy right here?
Back, because of that.
No, he should be coming to this gap right now.
He should play in that. Okay, gotcha.
He should be coming through this gap right here, because it's turning into a 3x1 fit. They're creating an extra gap over here, so this guy's got to be able to press to the crease. And it's the same thing. We're telling this guy to spill there, so potentially what you're doing is forcing a keep read by the quarterback. So we say, oh, everything we want to do is zone read here. If he climbs to the second level, I'm sitting and forcing the give.
Yep.
Well, now that you bring the Y back in motion, well, I'm coming down to spill him. So now the read progression can change for the quarterback. So now we could have QB on the perimeter, okay? And that backer should be climbing over the top, which is what happens right here. We climb inside, and this is sifting, so he's actually not coming to kick him out.
Yeah,
he's coming with depth.
Yeah.
So the Mike backer should be climbing over the top right here. So again, he ended up doing a really nice job redirecting back out of it. But the fits up front are not right. We should be flipping the fits. We got to do a better job with getting that guy in the game too. Especially on that nub side right there. Okay, here's Fordham. Here's your Y off tray. Okay, so here's your 3x1 that turns into a 2x2 fit. Okay, and then we always have to create that extra gap. So again, we talk about that potentially being, you got to defend the crease to that side and potentially defend the quarterback to that side. What are we forcing right now, the give or the keep? You really kind of don't know, because your quarterback player, who's tagged as your quarterback player, is now engaged on a trapper.
Yeah.
So we've got to replace his outside hip with a backer.
Now, were you using that pull call now on 84 here, where they're playing a gap behind at this situation?
No, because we are not in a 1 high look. We're in a 2 high look right now.
Okay.
So I think we're actually playing Tampa 2 right here.
Okay. So it's
Okay,
two
so
by-
he essentially would be the guy that would have to make the pull call,
Yeah.
and he would become the extra guy in the box as opposed to the free safety. I mean, see really poor footwork here.
Right, he should be coming over the top here, right? 27. I
Right.
just want to see what his angle is.
So he should be pressing through this A gap.
Right.
I'm coming back to the crease, and then the strong safety would end up falling into that B gap.
Gotcha.
But again, you can see most backs are they're not taking the zone off of the front side. Again, I don't know what he's doing.
What does that mean to you when they're not taking the front side? You're saying
They're just not taking the front side read.
okay.
Like if you were to just look at the zone play and say, okay, how many times does the ball end up on that side of the center
Right.
versus what percent of times does the ball end up on this side of the center? You know, on any type of, you would call it inside zone, whether it's cutoff zone, mid zone, whatever it is. If you're running the inside zone play, how many times does the ball actually end up on the other side of the center? It's probably
Yeah.
it's probably like 10%.
Yeah. Which separates the wide zone, right? And that's really what it's about.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So then you want to overlap your gap. So again, if
Gotcha.
I'm here, well now I'm coming here and I'm coming over here.
All based on the back.
It's all based on the angle of the back.
Gotcha.
If there's no Y off, there is Y off. It's hey, we're taking a 2x2 fit, or we're taking our 3x1 fit.
And the main difference with the 2x2 fit for you is that apex backer, right? That sand backer.
Okay, the Sam will usually the Sam's really never going to be apexed because we're not seeing open sets into the
Okay.
So we're not seeing open sets into the boundary, but he can potentially be your crease player.
Okay.
So again, it depends on what type of zone that we're seeing. Like again, you can see us more in a balanced alignment right here.
Mhm.
But he should be killing that gap right there.
Yeah.
And we're gonna again end up playing to that B gap slow, which with the strong safety because the ball usually doesn't travel to the front side B.
Now the
Really
97
nice job by
bonus.
37 right here. He sees a 3x1 fit. He wants to climb back over the
Climb
top of the outside number
Right.
of our end right here. So he's in a great position right there. But he got TFL if he would just take it.
Yeah. Now is 97 bow in this?
No,
or is
he
he just
should
making a
not
good
be.
play? He's just reading the play.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
he's just coming inside.
Gotcha.
He sometimes had a tendency to kind of do his own thing.
I know that.
He's a really good player though. He had like 11 sacks.
Okay, so now you're in 2x2.
Okay, so now we're 2x2.
Wide off.
And I think we're playing like a Tampa 2 here
Mhm.
as well. So again, we don't have a +1 on this play right here. Okay, but like I said, he's playing half field, he's playing straight corner. But we have to flip it, and again, if we're leaving a gap open, it's that one. You gotta climb into here, you gotta climb through to the crease.
And the end should be spilling it.
The end should be spilling it. So in climb through spills, forces the ball to bubble. Okay,
So who's wrong? Who loses the gap responsibility here?
he's wrong.
Right. But the
And
ball
then-
hits in the front side A, right?
Yeah, he's wrong.
Because of the Y coming back.
Right, because
Gotcha.
because of
He's
the
gotta
Y
put it
coming
back
back.
down.
So right now we can press it here, post it here, get ready to overlap everything to the backside. Once the Y comes across, I'm climbing to the crease,
He becomes-
I'm pressing
yeah.
through my A-gap run through. So again, if we look at it, and this is just what I'm saying, it creates visual stress for those guys. You know, but if we're playing some sort of conversion over here, there's your whip becomes the late B gap player. Right here, we're playing Tampa 2. We're playing too high, so you don't get one. But we would be 4 to this side, some sort of conversion to this side, and they're taking their regular gap fits. Y off comes through. I climb to the crease. I press the A, and then the whip ends up playing that B gap late. And it would be the same thing. That we talked about before. Okay, so he's the B gap player, he's the A gap player. Okay, with the Y off, I become the crease player, I become the A gap player, and then a second level player has to be the B gap player.
So this is 2x2 Y off.
Right. Okay, there's cutoff zone.
This is a good picture here, but. So now look at your alignments here. I see. So now I see the alignment change that you were talking about on the board, where
Right.
the sand is wider, the mic's almost like what is it, a 10 right over the center?
Right.
Yeah. So he takes that gap right now.
And now again, we're a field boundary team, and we are playing 4. This is our read side.
Mm-hmm.
So the safety is cranked in right now because the Y off.
Yep.
So normally if we're playing cover 4 in the 1 back set, we would have some sort of open 2, which would loosen the box on us.
Let me just see this side of it. Okay, let me just see this. So now that's safety who's creeping down now. He's a B gap player.
This guy right here,
Yeah, up top. Yep.
he's going to be he'll be the crease player, pop pass player, force player.
Okay.
So he's got the rod and vertical throw.
Yep.
And he's just holding the crease. Okay, and again, he's posting the B gap, getting ready to climb, flash over the top, and he is your vertical A gap press player.
Yep. So you don't expect your press player to climb back?
Nope.
Right.
Nope.
Gotcha.
Get your face in your gap. But again, same thing right here. When we see him go take the gap, they combo off, and he's cut off. I mean, the ball doesn't show up there.
Yeah.
Right? So we should be over the top. You're still going to force the combo as you press into your gap.
Right.
But I want him to be able to flash back over the top.
And why do you do that instead of the mic? Why is that player doing it instead of the mic? Because he sees it a little cleaner. What is it?
Because he's on the opposite side of the back.
Yeah.
So again, we just talk about just its tendency zone, the zone play. Okay, so we draw it down, you run the zone play. What percent of the time does the ball cross the center, and what percent of the time does the ball stay on the same side of the back? So I want this guy to eat his gap up. I have a crease and a pop pass
you feel
player.
like you're wasting that kid.
I got a soft B gap player. If I just run you through that gap,
You're gonna
combo off. You're going to block me.
Mm-hmm.
And
I got you.
we're just taking 2 guys out of the play where we feel we can start to crank him in and then snap him back over the top. And if the ball wants to pop over the top, he's still there.
Yeah.
Still has presence in his gap.
Yeah.
But we just don't want to run him through his gap. And
Is there a
lose him on
coaching
the
point
play.
for when the back cuts? Like, is there a coaching point for him when he wants to come back? Fall back?
He's playing off the back.
Okay. Tempo it.
Yep.
Got it.
You know, we talked about that. Like, oh, you have zone 2, you go press and kill your gap, and then you can be a tight circle player.
Mm-hmm.
But more times than not, you are really running yourself out of the play.
Yeah, it's a great point.
So we want to play him slow into his gap and let him come back over the top. So really, if you were to look at it, we're going to outnumber the side of the back.
Smart. Yeah.
And get a guy taking a run through. And we want that guy taking a run through to be our best player, which was him.
You got a pull concept. Oh, this looks like why. Split zone here.
Oh, this is double slot. Yeah, but again, you can still see just from an alignment standpoint. Normally we would be in a 30 and a 20, but since they run cutoff zone, we've bumped him over. Yeah. This guy is our B gap player. He's my A gap player. He's my crease player. So we've taken ourselves kind of out of that traditional 4-2 alignment structure, and we've overplayed the tendency of how they run the zone play. And yeah, now they're actually running a gap scheme play, which we should spill and overlap everything. He should spill when I should be tight off his ass, and I should be off his outside number. And then he becomes your cutback player. Okay, so this is like one of the beginning of the game. When we talk about like path of the ball, so we're overplaying. Take your A-gap run through, hold your crease, let it go.
Yep.
And then he comes back and he pops over the top. So the first thing we're talking about in the press box is saying, hey, ball's hitting the B, ball's hitting the B. So we know, hey, do we have to flip the fit, and do we have to take the mid-zone fit no matter what?
Right.
And then when you come back and look at it, he's getting his ass beat. If he has any dent here, he's got to bubble back to the B gap.
Right. But now here's an instance where it is cutoff zone, but the ball is hitting front side.
The ball hit to the front side, yes.
Okay.
But you can definitely see, if you look at the quarterback's footwork,
Yeah.
he's closing the front side off.
Yeah.
And he did. He took a nice pass to the B, and then again, our strong safety fell into it right here. And again, yeah, we are playing cover 4. So again, free safety or strong safety just falls into the D gap late, and I think he got 3 yards.
Right.
You know, but this is what you saw on tape. Was this?
Cut back. Yep.
It's just it's like midline.
Yep.
So let's not play the B gap. Let's kill you in the A, hold you in the crease.
Why do offenses classify those two different zone schemes? Why is that something that they're doing differently? Why would the quarterback cut off the front side of the play just to?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. It's interesting that you're seeing there's two different schemes to you. You know.
Yeah, it's more of like a midline mesh than a true zone mesh.
Almost reminds me like the Tim Tebow stuff in Florida. He was
Right.
riding the back into the mesh.
Right.
You know, those things.
Right. And you put those backers into a bind too.
Right.
When you do, you know, if I take that path and I cut off and I keep coming down inside,
Right.
it sucks everyone down, and then you get them clean over the top.
Right.
If I'm coming all the way back here, I have to continue to slide my feet across the formation.
Right. I just
But
remember.
we will, you know, we'll look at that and just say, okay, how do we want to handle our fits up front? We're aware of the open gaps. Do we need to cancel a gap through line movement? Like, we could very simply say, okay, let's kill the A gap, hold the crease, and let's bow it.
Well,
And then you send the ball out to the C gap.
right. Yeah. I just remember when Urban Meyer talked about that, he did it more to make sure the quarterback got the right read on the defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
Make a decision if
Right.
he's closing or if he's
Right.
funneling it.